Alright, so it's been a little while now since bots and skill-based matchmaking have been added back to OG Fortnite, and since then, I have played a few sessions and I have a little bit of an adjusted opinion for you and a much stronger stance in how I feel about this. We're going to talk about it. I ask you to hear me out, and I'd love to know what you guys think in the comment section down below afterwards. Hello everybody, and welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I am your guy with too many YouTube channels. I also wanted to touch on this because everybody's been touching on this right now, and it's really nice to see the online space kind of coming together for the most part. I know there's still a lot of people who really are pro bots, but it seems like, at least from what I've seen, the majority of people are kind of on the idea that OG Fortnite actually felt like OG Fortnite when it first came out. So they did a fantastic job when the OG mode first released, because the game was in its infancy, of course. Like, there were just ARs that were busted, ammo was difficult to find, heals were difficult to find. You had to be so careful, and they did a fantastic job. And it doesn't matter to me, and we just recently had a stream talking about this, and I kind of still stand on my point where I don't care how good the players are now. You are playing such a minimal version of Fortnite that it almost doesn't matter, because people aren't going to constantly just W key you because they're missing ammo. They have to worry about the resources that they're using. You have to think about third partying. You don't have all of the cover in the world. You have to play so strategically, and that was really nice. I didn't expect to have the OG Fortnite experience, and of course you can never like one for one it, but in the sense that the tension was brought back into the game. Every single game that I played, I had to focus intently on being so careful, because not only were there 100 real players in the game, there was no skill-based matchmaking, everybody had a busted weapon, and you had no heals. You had to be careful, you had to think, you had to communicate with your squad. You went crazy if somebody was off on their own. Like, it really brought back the OG experience in that sense, where it was so difficult to win. And I finally, just last night, got my first OG win, and it felt hype again. That's something that I didn't realize that I missed so much. You guys remember back in the day in OG Fortnite that the game was so difficult that when you won, you posted it on your Snapchat story. That was a flex back in the day. I know it's cringe to look back on now, but that's something that everybody did, because to win a game of Fortnite, it was incredibly difficult. I guarantee you, all of you playing this game, at least if you started around anytime in chapter 1 especially, you all remember your very first win. I remember my first win. I remember what guns I was using. I remember what place I was in. I remember what place I landed at. I remember the entire experience, and I'm sure, and a lot of people hold their first win near and dear to their heart, which is ridiculous to say for a video game, right? And what other video game have you ever played that you actually remember your first win? You got hyped up about your first one. That's because the game was so difficult. And it's only fortified my opinion in the sense that this game is better off without skill-based matchmaking. It's better off with especially bots. The bots one, I just don't get, man. I don't get why people would want to fight against AI. I know, and it's so weird because we live in this strange time where people can't handle people being better than them. I personally think that's half the fun. And before you start commenting down below, again, it is important to note that I am very for bot-only lobbies for those who just want to do just that, right? But the fact is, when you're getting so many players that aren't real, the game is not only easy to win, you never get better because you're playing against literal AI. And I know the argument everybody's going to be saying, like, okay, well, bots were added to the game because that's what the players were like. But the problem was, while the players weren't nearly as good as they were today, that skill gap was still there. I'll point back to it. Do you guys remember the John Wick? Every single time you saw someone with the John Wick skin, you knew they were fantastic. They completed their battle pass. They're great. And while they did the most basic building possible, they still absolutely destroyed you. And this is where I always say, all it takes is a little bit of a mindset shift, because instead of, if this John Wick issue was today, everybody would be like, oh my god, that guy needs to go touch grass. I'm not building a 5-star hotel like that guy. It's ridiculous. I can't believe I don't have time to sit down here and play this game for 24/7. And it's so over exaggerating, and it's a complete mindset shift, because back in the day when you saw somebody that was that good, you got a rush of, like, you got a huge rush in the sense where I don't even want to say adrenaline. Like, it's to the point where sometimes it felt like that, where you either had to like focus your entire squad into killing this one John Wick, or making sure it's like the boogeyman on the map. They're roaming around and you had to make sure, yeah, don't go near them, because that guy was really good. And then you all had to focus all of your efforts in order to get the win over that guy, let alone maybe a squad of John Wick skins. Instead, Nowadays, we've had this weird mindset shift where you just look at that guy using John Wick and tell him to go touch grass, and then you essentially give up. You don't even try. The skill gap was still there. And I'll forever point back to the Thanos mode, and I know that I've recently mentioned in a video, but it's still true. Everybody was okay with the skill gap in Thanos mode. That was fun, right? That I don't understand what the big deal is. It's the perfect example. You had a guy that was basically untouchable, and everybody thought it was fun to hide in bushes from him. OG Fortnite really brought me back to my childhood days of gaming, where you fight the guy who's prestige in COD, you fight the guy who's insane in Halo. No matter what game it was, there were always people better than you. And you could trash talk those guys, but you never actually just gave up and went back to the lobby and complained. And I'm so tired of so many people just sitting down and legitimately believing that people do nothing but grind on this game all day. I don't play this game all day, not nearly, and I like to think that I'm pretty good at it. The new thing being just tossed around everywhere is, well, I'm employed, so I'm not gonna be able to fight against these better players. It doesn't make any sense. The majority of people who just want to chill and play games have, I guess, like, I don't want to say the majority, but a lot of people who play this game and actively just participate and are good and just chill and do whatever they want. They get better every single time that they play. They're normal people, and there's so many people online who legitimately believe that anybody better than them must be unemployed, must be a degenerate, anything like that. It's been a complete mindset shift. I don't understand, and I don't understand why you'd rather play against actual AI. Why wouldn't you want the challenge? Why wouldn't you want to play in a battle royale game with 100 people? Your win rate is supposed to be basically nothing. That's what it was back in the day, and that's what OG Fortnite brought back. No skill-based matchmaking. Everybody got to play no matter who you were against. That's how you had all of the fun OG moments too. Everybody landing on a piano. I think I mentioned that in the other video too. Everybody landing on the piano, whether it's trying to do a quest, running into this default skin that didn't know what you were doing, finding him, showing him around on the map, teaming with him, or being so scared of that John Wick back in the day. Replace that with any skin nowadays, doesn't matter. And now if you want to play with real people, you go play ranked, you go play an actual competitive mode. That's not a solution to it, because I'm not even somebody who plays competitive. Don't get me wrong, I like the competitive aspect of the game, but I don't think it's fair to just punish the best players with making them try their absolute hardest. Now, I also know what you're going to say. I don't want to sweat. I just want to chill and play the game. And the sweat term has been ridiculous for a very, very long time now, because I refuse to believe, and I'm not even refusing to believe, you know you're full of crap when you start saying I don't want to sweat, I don't try, I just want to chill back and relax. It doesn't make any sense. And I know I meme about it on the channel. I know I talk about this a lot in streams and I just flat out joke around, but this is the mindset that people have, where it's like, oh, as soon as somebody else tries, it's unnecessary, it's ridiculous, they're trying to be in the FNCS, but when I try, it's okay. When I try, that's totally okay. And you trying is not different from anybody else trying. They just have more tools in their kit because they've been playing, I don't know, they've been playing the game longer, maybe they're just better than the game at you. These are all things that you can develop, by the way, if you're actually sitting down and you're fighting against real players and not bots. At least when it comes to just talking about like skill-based matchmaking, and I don't understand the bot ones. I think that the game is just flat out better without bots, but at least skill-based matchmaking, it makes sense to argue about. The sweat one makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. I'm chilling on the game and I'm quite good at it. People can also be good at the game and just chill, but everybody is actively sitting down and trying to win. What do you want somebody that is better than you to do? What do you actually want them to do? Do you want them to just sit there, not try, and let you kill them? Do you understand how ridiculous that sounds? It does, and this is what I keep saying, it doesn't make any sense. Don't act like you do not try to win games. People are just better than you, and not everybody is just like locked in like this, like just like actually like just making sure that they get the win. I mean, I'm sure that happens, to be honest with you, but it's the excuse for every single time people are better than you. I will point you forever back to that Face Sway tweet. Back in the day, when you saw somebody who was prestige in COD, you send him a friend request, you talk to him, you talk about how good he is at the game, and now everybody just points at him, laughs, and tells him to touch grass because he's good at a video game. It's crazy to me. And think about it from this way. You are so sick of people sweating on you. What about the people that you're better than? They look at you, though, if they have the same mindset, they'll look at you like you're sweating. You're doing this unnecessary 2-build ramp rush. It's crazy to me, okay? Got a little bit off topic with that, though. I loved what OG Fortnite brought back. It brought back everybody just playing under one umbrella. it made the game more difficult. It made the game harder. And when I spoke about earlier, talking about having a little bit of an adjusted opinion to this, it's in the sense where, and I'm not sold on this yet. I loved playing it so much that I think that I would actually be okay if they just copy and pasted OG. I'm talking taking out turbo building. I'm talking about even maybe the movement. Maybe, but then that opens up a big issue because the players, that's where the skill gap for the players actually matter, because they'll beam you in the head, right? That's what's kind of stopping me there. But I loved the fact, and I don't care that the guns are busted. I don't care how hard it is to find the loot. I don't care. The strategy was there. You had to worry about every single little thing that you do. You had to worry about your ammo, your guns. You were constantly begging your teammates for ammo because you didn't have any. You had to worry about the people that you were rushing. You had to crouch walk around mountains. It forced that type of gameplay, and I thought it was phenomenal. You can't do that in Chapter 6 with all the resources now, but man, it just really reinforced me that there should be no bots and there should be no skill-based matchmaking, because winning, and this was the most important part, winning was so hard again. 100 players. You had to come out to be the best out of 100 players. That's something that's been lost in Fortnite, and I forgot how important that was. I forgot how important that was to having fun with this game. To see players of all different skill levels, to see people actually trying to have fun, to see people doing the sky bases, to see people just in the distance rocket riding, to see people building forts. Not everybody's using the meta. Everybody fit under one umbrella, and it made fights that much more diverse because you didn't know if your fight was going to be easy, you didn't know if it was going to be difficult. The third partying was crazy. Like, when it did happen, the build fights got insane. Like, this was a different version of Fortnite that exists in Chapter 6, and while I love Chapter 6, I love it. I now do realize that I would still absolutely love it more without skill-based matchmaking and without bots, but you still have, and again, the meta is just completely different. The basic unfinished meta of OG Fortnite really was something special, and I forgot why this game got so popular. Because of how difficult it was to win, because of all the different things that you can do. You can't get this same feeling in Chapter 6. You can't get that same feeling of accomplishment. You can't get that same feeling of endorphins rushing through your body while you're actually playing a video game. I can't remember the last time. Maybe 8-ish years ago when this game first came out. I can't remember the last time that happened to me. Now that I think about it, to be honest with you, it probably happened through the entirety of Chapter 1, and it's because there were no bots and no skill-based matchmaking. Because when did the wins feel different? When did they feel easy? When was it common to get 15 kills a game? After Chapter 2. It makes all of the sense in the world, man. I was completely wrong on the idea of OG Fortnite sticking around. I still do believe it would get stale with time if you were to never update it, but I think they're doing a fantastic job right now. Well, I mean, not anymore. I meant the idea of changing and going throughout the different seasons. I hope Epic Games actually, and I'm usually not one of these people, man, but I hope they revert the update. I'll deal with the chest buff. I'll deal with the ammo buff. At least I get that. But the skill-based matchmaking, in my opinion, needs to go, and especially the bots. I think that's what's best, and it's very important to note, too. I think players should be able to have bot-only lobbies if they would like to have it. OG Fortnite was a different experience. We got to experience that for a little bit, and I forgot what that feeling was like. I've started in Chapter 1, Season 3, but I got those same feelings playing the game with how difficult it was, with how bare bones it was, with how different it was from the game right now. I love modern Fortnite with all of my heart. It's still my favorite game in the world, but there was just that little different kind of gameplay, and I remembered, and I can't believe that I forgot it. I remembered why everybody fell in love with this game. OG Fortnite really was special. Perhaps I was underrating it this whole time. While I do still believe that modern Fortnite is better, the difficulty of it cannot be matched. The rush when you get a win cannot be matched. That's what I forgot about OG Fortnite, and I was wrong to some extent. I would love to know what you think about it down below afterwards. The conversation about OG Fortnite does not have to end there, because we just made a video talking about the topic a little bit more. I would love to hear you guys, and even in this video, that video, check out both of them, guys. Thank you so much for coming. Take care.